This is Paranormal Short Session 24 at the Chestnut Street Cemtery in Apalachicola, Florida. Today is Friday the 4th of August 2023, and I am Keith Evans. And we're checking out the large astronomical type Ovilus tombstone here. It's Mr. Leander Miller Crawford, son of Oliver and Elizabeth A. Crawford. Born 21st November 1835, died 30th April 1860. Age 24 years, 5 months, and 9 days. Up here, it's got a little reef that says, "Our only son." And it's a four-sided, but it's pretty much plain on the sides. That's all the way around. Now I'm gonna use my FLIR C5 thermal imager and try to stay in the shade so you can see at home. Get over this way, see if I can pick up some better views. Get in one area, it's better for the camera to pick up. Sometimes video camera just gets a black area, which doesn't help the people at home at all. Let me get in the shade and see if I can get some better footage. Sometimes this time of day there's not much shade at all. Sometimes the camera will adjust to lighten up the black from the C5. It'll get lighter, and then it'll make the background very, very light, but it's not doing it now. So I'm not sure if you are really getting to see much. Let me get to another angle. Hopefully it'll pick up better. I can see it, but I'm looking directly at the C5. If I look through the camera itself, all I'm seeing is black. Now this is the back side. This side should be purple. The other side is kind of like a yellowish, maybe orange tint to it, but it's been off and on in shade and sun. It's not that thick of trees, but it's in some shade in the back. Yeah, I'm not sure how well you can see on that. Well, let's go over here to John Caraway Smith. Let me just show you his little broken tombstone. It's highly decorative with the flowers at top. And it's a fairly, skinny tombstone. It's probably about, I don't know, 2.5 inches thick, maybe 3. Got the little lines on the side. Looks like it'd been maybe glued once before, this little strip here, but apparently it's still broken off from that. So with the thermal imager, I can see orange at the broken off top part, and at the base it's still attached to the ground. It's a little more purple with kind of orange at the top. I don't know if you can see that at home or not. Going back over to the part that's broken off. The part that's broken off has been out in the sun, so it's kind of yellow. I'll go to the back. I'll show you what you're looking at. We'll start over towards the side, the top that's broken off. In the back, it should have shade, so it should be fairly purple. And that's the part that you're seeing here, the back, which has been in the shade, which is fairly purple. I don't see anything here that I would consider to be paranormal or anything abnormal. As far as the temperatures should go for this time of day and these tombstones. You can see the back of the tombstone there is purple, if the lighting is letting that happen. Yeah, I might see it a little bit there. To the top and back to the bottom. Alright, I'm going to turn my C5 off. I don't see anything abnormal. And I'm going to go ahead and get out my Ovilus Vb and see if I can make any contact with Mr. Crawford here. Mr. Crawford, could you tell me the name you prefer to be called by? And my second question would be, what did you like most about Apalachicola? I get ready to turn on my Ovilus.
Law. Roadway.
So I think it said law. Let me check. Law, L-A-W, and roadway, R-O-A-D-W-A-Y. So that's what you like most about Apalachicola, is the law and the roadway. I think the roads weren't too good back then. They were very muddy and very, it was easy to sink into them, get stuck if you had a vehicle. Most people got around by using, boats or a ship. I don't know if you can see those two words or not. Now, Mr. Crawford, did you work within law enforcement, or were you a judge or an attorney? If not, what type of employment were you involved in, Mr. Crawford? I can't say whether that's broken off at the top or it's just square. I'm not tall enough to get up there and see. I know it's got these little decorative notches here all around it. At all four corners. Lender Miller, were they last names, surnames of other individuals, Mr. Crawford? I know you like the roadway and you like the law. That's about all I know about you. Mr. Crawford, what road did you live on when you lived in Apalachicola? Do you remember? These little yellow flowers are kind of neat. They almost look like small little mimosa type trees, and I think they're just plants. Mr. Crawford, do you know the name of the flowers or plants growing here at the foot of your tombstone? Probably some type of wildflower. Mr. Crawford, are there any questions you'd like to ask me? Oh, as a reminder, I let everyone know, every ghost or spirit that participates in any way in my paranormal short sessions, and I'm going to be using this. The shorts will be on Facebook and Instagram as form of advertising my Paranormal Short Sessions YouTube channel. And the full entirety of the paranormal session will be on YouTube. Again, my YouTube channel is called Paranormal Short Sessions by Keith Evans. Mr. Crawford, have you heard of my paperback book and my ebook called The Hayes House, Ghosts or People Too? It's about the Hayes and Buck family that lived at the Hayes House that was built in 1908. It still exists today. It's at the corner of 4th Street and D Avenue in Apalachicola, Florida. I'm sure that house was before your time. You passed away April 30th of 1860. But as a ghost or spirit, have you had any connections with either Pat or Kathleen, Sunshine or Annie, Mary, anyone else from the book The Hayes House, Ghosts or People Too, Jeff Buck, his son LG Buck? Guess not. Well, it's starting to cloudy up some. That would make for better pictures as long as I don't get rained on. I'll give you a slow 360 of, I'll do it again so you get a better look. All right, there we go. All right, Mr. Crawford might be out of energy. Well, let's go over here and talk with Mr. Smith. Mr. John Carraway Smith. Born in May. Gosh, I can't read that number. Can't read that either. Maybe that was the date of death. It's very hard to read. It's pretty much etched out. Oh, up here is the birth date. Looks like May something, 16th maybe, 1827. And then the death date, he died in Apalachicola. He was born in Fredericksburg, Virginia. He died May, looks like 1843. I can't really tell the date. His little tombstone is broken. You can see where it looks like it was glued sometime in the past and it didn't hold. So, Mr. Crawford, I have the same two questions. What name do you prefer to be called? And what did you like most about Apalachicola? Seemed like with Mr. Crawford, I got the two things he liked about Apalachicola. The law and the roadway. Now, maybe Law was his nickname. Maybe he was called L-A-W. And maybe roadway is what he liked. Now, he could have been maybe a law enforcement officer. I don't know. It's a possibility. They just call me the Law. A little sense of humor there, but I guess the Law could also be the type of work that he did. I don't know if I asked that or not. I might have asked that as a secondary question, but not the initial question. So I think that came before I asked the question about what type of work did Mr. Crawford complete when he was alive. Mr. Smith, do you think that paranormal investigators are just silly people? As a paranormal investigator, if you had to rate me, 0 being the worst and 10 being the best, where would you rate me? You can either give me a digit number or you can spell out the word. Well, thank God it's getting cloudy. It's cooling off a lot. It really helps me out. I'm like a wilting flower in this hot sun. And the shade, there's partial shade, but not complete shade, so it was still hot where I'm at. But now the clouds have come over, and I'll give you a 360 from here. I'm right behind the Mr. Crawford's tombstone, and to Mr. John Caraway Smith. Caraway is probably surname. Is that your mother's maiden name, Caraway? See if it'll come in better now. I can see it a little bit better now. Law and roadway. Just 2 words, that's it. Mr. Caraway, do you want me to go home? Mr. Caraway, would you say something uplifting to help all my followers and fans at home that watch this YouTube channel? Something that would be helpful to them. Say something uplifting, please. Well, I'm not getting much at all. All right, since Mr. Crawford and Mr. Smith don't seem to be home or here at the graveyard today, maybe they have made their home someplace else other than here, heaven, or visiting other places on earth, or a combination of all of the above. And I'm just hoping that anyone that would like to speak, that has the energy to speak, if you know these gentlemen and can answer any of the questions that I've asked so